the beginning of the match here. Finally, we had to get to that language barrier, but we were able to do it. The first battle is going to be on mine. It's going to be Refuse to Die versus Super Amigos. What's going to happen? Only one way to find out, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and jump into the map.
Taking a look at their lineup, two 5100s, two IS3s, and a single T69 on the side of Super Amigos. On the other side, we have Refuse to Die, sporting the T32, two T69s, a 1390, and a WZ132. Now, yesterday, we saw Refuse to Die do that little trick on the top of the hill, and they were able to push up a lot of, well, actually two 1390s. This time, they will not be spawning north side, but they still have the option to push out that WZ132 and the 1390.
And they will do that, taking very good advantage of their light tanks. This is reading your enemy's tank lineup and then, you know, acting appropriately. They know they have hill control if they want it, so they've taken it and actually doing some nice proxy spotting. I'll remind the viewers and newer players, if you're within 50 meters of an enemy tank, it does not matter what is between the two of you. You will spot him, and he will spot you. And that's generally called proximity spotting. We actually see, I thought Lita was going to try and make sure he was, you know, proxy spotting some of the spotting that the 1390 could have done.
Look at this, a T69.
They're going to try and push him, but I don't think it works here. Maybe it does, but I don't remember this being a successful way to push a tank onto the hill.
Well, Valkyrie Vios in the WZ132 taking that hill spot does see those two IS3s and the T69 trying to creep just a little bit over
like,
to get some shots.
Oh, this is awkward,
Yeah.
guys. It's like, I see you coming.
Oh, T1 has died somewhere else, and while we were distracted with this, what was that?
Well, the 5100 DJ Danny shot fired against his hole, and Valkyrie Vios is just moving back and forth, is launching the IS3, trying to stop us moving on that hillside. But Valkyrie Vios get a reposition. Nice shot against Toasty Furioso. Is Valkyrie Vios able to lock in a shot on the WZ132? Can he lock in another one? Does it have the gun depression? No, not in his location. The IS3 is trying to line up, and he does not fire.
No, everyone has gotten pretty much out of... Ooh, Toasty Furioso could get into range for Valkyrie Vios. He could take a shot for him right here, although Valkyrie's going to get a little greedy, I'd say. And there, he's going to take a hit for it.
Yep, finally, the cat's out of the bag for Valkyrie Vios, that he does receive a shot to his hole. But World War II Fnatic in the T32, maybe trying to take a time or an opening, really, to move up to get one of the shots hit before he backs out, using that hold down position against those rocks. But no such luck for the T32. The spread is great for Refuse to Die, as they have serious map control, cutting the map in 2/3.
You can definitely see a change-up. Refuse to Die notoriously always brought a KV5 to this map. Throughout all of the WGL Season 1, they always had World War II Fnatic sporting the KV5 on this map. And it wasn't too successful for them. They've since then gotten rid of it. I like to see that adaptation, that evolution of play. You know, they're still willing to test out a lot of stuff, but at the same time, they're subject to change.
Yeah, they're not stubborn enough to just keep doing the wrong thing when it doesn't work. Great job by them. I wonder if they're gonna try and, you know, implement something else new. I like this lineup, and it's not what I'd say is the most common. I mean, a T32, something happening on the other side of the map at the same time. Looks like T1s are going to fight. So I'm going to jump over there and just look at Hired Gun versus Zero Cool as they square off. This is actually a really big deal here, guys. Whichever T1 wins, this is a lot of map control that could shift to either side.
Zero Cool gets the first Alpha Strike fire. He gets the kill against Hired Gun. It's now tied up for the tier points. The tank's still left alive, 41-41. Only 2 tanks dead. A lot of red we can see on the hill.
That is a lot of map control going to Super Amigos. They have control over the water side effectively right now. Their T1 could move south and from here possibly get into the backfield of Refuse to Die, which would be great, although it does look like another T1 Quasiar is spotted, and he is taking fire from DJ Danny. but it doesn't look like he's there. He finally connects. He's fired a lot of shells, though. That could be the cue for a push, and that looks like it is.
Yeah, Valkyrie View is still on that hillside. He could move in for the side flank, but Anubis and World War II Fnatic trying to clean up anything on that side. Athulio Launchin and Toasty Furioso are the ones that are meeting in that engagement. But using the other IS-3 in a hold-down position is World War II Fnatic as he focuses down one of the tanks. Does he try to focus down Athulio first? Wow, nice shots from the IS-3s. They clean up the T-32s. World War II Fnatic does go down 32 against 33. The Refuse to Die team is down 1 tier point. But Valkyrie View has taken another shot in the WZ-132. Is not able to get a kill against those low health, that one low health IS-3. And the grouping up of these lower HP tanks is not going to be all that good moving up against these IS-3s.
Yeah, they're brawling in a situation where there's just too much hit points for their opponents. I mean, you're bringing 2 light tanks against an all-heavy tank lineup. That's a well, I shouldn't say all. There's one T-69, but still, that's a lot of hit points that you have to deal with. You need to kite a little bit more, maybe a couple more engagements before you have this large confrontation.
Yeah, and I was feeling like we were going to see a very quick victory right after that out of Refuse to Die, but it fell short because I'm expecting to see some bounces at the end of this. This is T-69s with heat rounds against IS-3s. If you're not careful enough, you're going to hit spaced armor on the sides, and that could have wasted 2 or 3 shells out of a bag of kittens or Scringly that could have just definitely killed and stalled this push. We saw T-32 unfortunately get wasted so quickly. It was pretty much a trade, 1-for-1, 5100 for T-32. I don't know how that's going to work out in the long run. It definitely depends on how our Refuse to Die is able to pull out if they can get a bag of kittens to safety.
Valkyrie Views is able to get that shot from way downtown to take down the T1, but they're going to move to the south because they both feel there could be a push into their flag cap, and they're going to turn around next to the water side. Anubis taking the lead here in the 1390, not stopping whatsoever.
Oh, wow, they're going for the flank. They're trying to get a really nice island, or excuse me, lighthouse flank. They are not going to be spotted over here. I'm on the side of blue team, which is, of course, Super Amigos. And if they do approach that island, I'm not sure, or excuse me, the lighthouse, I'm not sure if they have the best shots on them. Bad Kitten's just poking out ever so slightly. Behind the Bad Kittens, who else does he have? It's Scringly.
Yep.
That's right.
Screening the T-69. But Valkyrie View is taking the lead in WZ-132 now as Anubis in the 1390 hangs back. Valkyrie View is approaching the flag cap on the dock side and swinging around a little bit wide here.
Oh, I see what he's going to do. He's going to try and maybe he'll get on the high ground, or maybe he'll hide in the bush on cap. There's a bush he can approach and get into on cap in just a second, and from that bush, he could put some cap pressure on, which could get the Super Amigos to make a wrong move. Split
But he
forces.
sees the T-69
nice
lands
shot.
a great shot from far away. WTS Atleta and DJ are now thinking, where did that come from? Another shot from Valkyrie Views. It does land, or at least something lands against WTS Alta. Launchin in the front of the IS-3. Trying to see where it's coming from, and a bag of kittens cleans up in the T-69.
Nice shot. Bad Kittens making sure that his friends at home, the WZ-132, is going to be safe because that's just one shot away from dying. Now, Bad Kittens, though, he's going to be initiated on. First shot by Latchin was bounced on that T-69. Very, very unfortunate for him as, you know, IS-3s, they're pretty easy to penetrate their T-69 counterparts.
Bag of kittens is completely surrounded on 3 sides, but Anubis comes in for the amazing kill in the 5100. Anthiel and Screenly are decided to duke it out. 27 HP. Screenly gets the final kill against him.
Wow.
Nice hits.
What a nice, fortunate attack right there, taking out the IS-3 in one shot.
Refuse to Die, living up to their name on Mines. We'll talk about how they were able to come back from that after this. Welcome to the garage. We're going to take a look at the American team. And hugged it out they did on Mines as Refuse to Die was able to take battle number 1 against Super Amigos. Nice play, nice work, and Valkyrie Views with that flank in that 1390. Or was no, excuse me, the WZ-132.
Yeah, it was the WZ-132 Anubis playing. Was it Anubis? Yeah, it was Anubis on the 1390.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we do have a couple of detailed reports just to bring up right now because Rookhill immediately said, look at the detailed report directly after that battle. You can see on the Refuse to Die side, 2,500 damage being done by that 1390. Let's go ahead and take a look at his detailed reports right now. As he shot 11 times, 10 of those penetrated for a total of 2,500 damage. That's awesome, awesome stuff. Means he's also high rolling like crazy.
Wow.
250 average damage per shot. Also, looking at Stringly, he's at 1501. A Bag Kitten's able to put out 1663.
That throws off the high roll. He got an ammo rack right at the end of the IS-3.
Right.
That would be why he got that crazy average damage. I thought about that as soon as the battle was ending. I was like,
wow,
dang, that's going to be really efficient for his damage per shots, that ammo rack. Because that IS-3 had like 700 damage left or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kind of punishing an IS-3 for not having that wet ammo rack that you really need. Let's be honest, IS-3s are incredibly easy to ammo rack.
Yeah.
I play an IS-3 all the time, and literally that's the #1 thing I burn my kit on, ammo racks, because I'm always getting ammo rack.
Yeah, I don't really have that problem with the T-32. A lot of it is gun damage. That's what mostly happens to me. I have to repair it then.
We all have our cons somewhere.
No, we don't.
I was actually testing the new T-32. Well, on the test server, I was testing the T-69 new heat shell penetration versus the T-32. It's going to be pretty effective against the new heat rounds, because the thing is, the heat rounds on the T-69 right now, they pen for about 300, which means they can go through the turret of a T-32 if you hit the right spot.
Yeah.
But the only spot you're going to pen that T-32 and hold down now with 250 heat pen is you're going to have to hit the very tiny hatch when he's in hull down. And on the if he angles his front armor right, you're going to have tons of bounces. And on the side skirts, you have to get almost 90 degrees to pen consistently, because it'll hit tracks. And the huge tracks of the T-32 work to its advantage to absorb those heat shells. So the T-32 is going to be really effective against T-69s in the next patch. It's going to take a lot of effort as a T-69, a lot of skill, a lot of focus to make your shots count when the next patch drops.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about this a lot internally. The T-69, for those of you that don't know, in the next patch, it's going to drop in penetration dramatically. And 50 might not sound like a lot, but it is the difference in a lot of these tanks, especially with the angling. Yeah, I mean, this is quite substantial. And people, I know a lot of pro gamers are considering just giving up the T-69 altogether, except on maps like Proc and Steps, where you need, that, I guess, that very mobile tank to operate.
And on top of that, on most open maps, the lineup you'll be seeing, which was 1390 C69s, you still pen just fine with heat rounds against those. You're not going to have any trouble against like the 30 armor kind of tanks. So it's still completely viable where armor's like that. But and on city maps like Himmelsdorf, we're going to see a lot less T-69s probably because of like IS-3s absorbing so many shots in the skirts and the potential to still bounce with that 250 heat pen on the front armor if you shoot the wrong spot.
Now, some potential, I guess, substitutes for the T-69. It's definitely going to be map dependent. I don't think it's going to be all the times, but the T-32, of course, as we were just talking about. The Pershing, another really fantastic tank. What it comes down to is you still need that 400-meter view range with binocs in order to really supplement your entire team, right? Everybody can't be going for the kill. You need that person to be able to look out and see exactly where your opponents are going. That way you can have better indicators of how to play out the individual map.
And the next map is going to be on Himmelsdorf, which gets that hill play. Like I always keep bringing it up because it's like a roller coaster. It's the slow ticking progression for those tanks to get there. Once they do, whoa, it gets kind of crazy. If they find anything up there, if they don't, then they try to scout around, and they realize
it's the lamest roller coaster ever.
Yeah, and they realize it is the lamest roller coaster. At least there's a castle.
Yeah.
What if it was haunted, and there was 3D projections going around it?
Of what?
Stuff, ghosts, SS officers. Maybe
I'm pretty sure they would take their muzzles, point it at them,
and shoot it.
And shoot.
That's right. All right. Well, looks like we're almost ready here for the teams to move into Himmelsdorf.
Yeah, just bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a language barrier, so that's why it's taking a little bit longer than normal. Normally we have these games going to back to back, but it's a little bit harder just to get this organizationally going. But it does look like these guys have their tanks pretty much locked in. I see IS-3s, I see 5100s, And I also see a 110. Now, a 110 Chinese tank, very similar to an IS-3. This is the tank that Mr. Bitter loves to talk about, and Mr. Bitter says he's going to be unlocking as his next tier 8.
Well, best of luck to him, because that is a good tank to play. Let's go ahead and jump into battle number 2. It's going to be on Himmelsdorf. Refuse to Die versus Super Amigos. To the north, as we see the blue team, Super Amigos, and to the south, the red team, Refuse to Die. What do we have for tanks?
150, 100, 3 IS-3s and a T-69, favoring those IS-3s. Very conventional lineup coming out of Super Amigos. On the other side, a 110, 250, 100s, and 2 IS-3s. Again, I would say a very conventional lineup coming out of Refuse to Die. The 110 is very similar to the IS-3. Packs a pretty hard punch as well. So I'm not really surprised by any of these. I am surprised about this layout that we have, especially on Tank Alley, but it feels like Super Amigos are just playing very comprehensive to start things out, saying, okay, we're not going to die to any silly donk pushes straight through the center. They are spreading out to have a great concave. Well, we'll see, because one of the 5100s
has just taken a hit. Now, wow, interesting push down the middle from Refuse to Die.
Yeah, that lineup was
it's going to be really bad, I think, for Refuse to Die. I didn't see that on the minimap, of course. I don't have
it. Caught us all by surprise. Both you and I are watching Super
They went through the courtyard, man. They went through that courtyard and just straight up had that 3-tank lineup going across, and now they're going to go right over that rubble. 1 HP on DJ. Valkyrie Viewis is not taking any damage on his side. Screenly at 1211. Bagakins at 1500. Here comes the surround. The T1 leading the charge to scout what is still left there. World War II Fanatic in his 5100 is going to unload his entire clip on what's left of the Super Amigos. And just past Tank Alley.
Where's the rest of the Super Amigos? They're supposed to have the better flank in this position. They were set up to kind of surround that, but they got isolated very, very fast. I don't know where they were.
They're
to the north. 2 are to the north, and the other 2 are actually moved down in the alley on the D line. But the one that is to the north, Stuka, and the IS-3 will be chased by Screenly and the rest of his compadres as they're going to unload in this one remaining tank to the north. But the other tanks, one is still trying to go up the hill. Is that one of the T1s?
Yeah, there's a T1 still going up the hill. And I don't know what he's doing there, but the fight is down here, and it's ending down here because Stuka is just about to go down. That was an interesting play by Refuse to Die. It was very risky, I'd say. And
it was risky, but it paid off. It's straight on aggression, going through the courtyard, the fastest path possible to get over there. Blue base under attack. 3 seconds left as the red team, Refuse to Die, will close this out. And World War II Fanatic gets the final kill here. No, he gets, yes, he does. The AMX 5100. Nice job by Refuse to Die, closing out that battle in a 2-0 victory so far. But the series is not over yet. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to WGLNA Season 2, qualifier number 1. Already in Season 2, man. Season 1 was a great success.
That's right.
A lot of fun.
Okay, I can speak a little bit about that last match. I've talked to a bag of kittens a lot of times, and I said, hey, a lot of these teams love to rush up all the way over to the eastern side and go for that hill. A lot of guys like to set up all the way on the western side. That is not correct play. In my opinion, I was saying, you're not defending against the center. A lot of times these teams, it's just out of the meta, right? It used to be the absolute norm. Just go up there, as Rookhill would say, a football-style lineup, and just get ready to brawl. But that's been forgone. And for good reason and bad reason, right? Like, a lot of them wanted to, take a jump on the hill and said, okay, you're just going to stand there. That does nothing. Well, it just got out of the meta, and all of a sudden, these teams are giving up a lot of position unnecessarily. Center control is still really important on Himmelsdorf. If you control that, and you control, let's say, 66% of the map, you have an inherent advantage right there. Refuse to Die, he just told me, Badkins, they practiced that. They said, hey, we're going to do something like this. We're going to just pick them off. And they had 100% confidence going into that last battle.
And that 110 almost blended in with those 2 other IS-3s, and with its damage outpouring against anything coming down that line.
Yeah, that's how it operates.
Awesome.
Rukil, please talk to us about that last battle and tell us how it strategically went through.
Yeah, so that 110 you guys were talking about was great because it brought the 100 mil, which complemented the IS-3's more consistent damage just in case someone missed or something. But to get to the fight, we had that push right up the middle with 2 IS-3s and a 110. That was interesting to see. Now, I got to the point where we had the response out of Super Amigos, and I don't think this was quite correct, or at least it was so delayed. They came around and they tried to get us around because what happened is the 3 tanks had moved into this position, and it would have been a great crossfire on the 3 of them, except for there were already pretty much 2 dead tanks.
Well, I think most importantly, those 2 dead tanks pushed in.
Oh, and they backed into that keyhole. And
well, they shouldn't be going towards the guys. They should be backing up away from them.
I think if they'd stalled those tanks by just pushing into them so they couldn't get around the corner, the 2 tanks which had come to respond here would have had really great flank shots. So that aggression would have had a 2v3 for a second, and that might have given a chance, maybe. But at the same time, you still had that flank from the east and from the west, which could have gotten great cross shots.
Sure.
So that would have just been a chaotic brawl at that point. But it would have, I think it would have kept the Refuse to Die players in a position which was easier to respond to for Super Amigos instead of that fight. You know, it looks like chaos on the screen now, but instead of that fight happening here,
Wait,
it could have
go back to the
happened.
screen.
No. Instead of the fight happening where it is currently circled, it could have happened right here in D5 with better shots down this way from responding tanks, and that would have been better for Super Amigos.
Gotcha.
All right, we're going to find out what's going to happen in battle number 3. Can Refuse to Die close it out, or can Super Amigos hold on? Let's go ahead and find out on Ruinberg. Top side, strong side, some say, is Refuse to Die in the red. And in the blue, Super Amigos, spine to the south. What do we have for tank selection, Greet Torp?
2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, a T-69 for Super Amigos. The other side, 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a WZ-132 for Refuse to Die. Very interesting. Normally we see, instead of that the WZ-132, a 1390 on this map specifically, but the WZ-132... you know, we were talking about this a lot yesterday, Mr. Bitter, myself, and of course you, Clutch. You know, what do we prefer, et cetera, and we were saying, you know, the 1390 was performing incredibly well yesterday.
It was, but the WZ-132 is still a tank that I'm going to cast my lot with because I actually like firing on the move and not having that dread of reloading an autoloader. I mean, autoloaders are fantastic, but if you're not used to that reload time that you're going to need, it can be very, very difficult to adjust accordingly to that. The WZ-132, I feel, is a great counter, or can be a great alternate choice to the 1390. That's my personal opinion. WZ-132 is hiding behind a bag of kittens. That was just way faster than IS-3, and he's just going back and forth, letting the IS-3 take the lead. Of course, with that type of armor, I'd want him to take the lead too if we're pushing in across the cityscape.
Super Amigos are set up incredibly campy right now.
And this is a really weird camp to try and break. Approaching it could be difficult for Refuse to Die, although looking at the way Super Amigos have it set up, it's a really tight setup here, guys. If you want to take a look, we've got a 5100 in the keyhole window. We've got an IS-3 looking north. We've got 5100 IS-3 and T-69 looking across the cap. But guys, where's the approach? It's very easy. Where is that?
It's right here. Let's go ahead and go into my screen.
Yeah, I think we might. Yeah, okay.
It's this road right here, coming in from the church.
Exactly. That is the approach. It's the blind spot. They have to kill the T1s to do it.
Yep.
Yep.
But it is the approach at which they can get closest and possibly surprise a tank
Yeah,
without revealing that position and being at range. And if you're approaching at range, shooting at range is so hard when you're greater than 100 meters. When you're closer, it's okay to come around the corner and shoot on the move because your reticle's mostly on a tank anyway. But it's so difficult to approach from the red line north. So that will be the answer Refusedai has to find and has to know in order to beat this Super Amigos hard camp.
All right, well, Quasiar is going to lock in fights with Zero Cool right now. Quasiar and Zero Cool both in a T1 Cunningham. See what happens from this. Both of them hiding a little bit, just spotting each other. And if I'm Zero Cool, I'm not even going to provoke this, but he's going to go down.
He does.
He does.
Valkyrie Viewis in the WZ-132 could have got the surround on him, but he's playing cautious on this corner, opposite the side of the church.
Very wisely, because there are keyholes that Super Amigos could be using that Refusedai has not canceled out yet. There are other keyholes which covered that T1, which Super Amigos are not using, but they could have used. And if they had, that really could have punished the Valkyrie Viewis for what would have been something reckless. And he very smartly did not go around the corner and risk that. Instead, we had a very good job out of Quasiar there to defend. And it does look like a Bag of Kittens has taken a big hit through 2 keyholes, and he actually traded with DJ what was that? DJ Danny. Yeah, wow, interesting shot to have there. That's quite a shot to Snake, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a large shot from on a Bag of Kittens, by the way. That's, what is that, 465 damage being done?
That's 2 hits.
Is it 2 hits?
Yeah, it's got to be 2 hits. One of them must have been, or both of them could have been low rolls.
Or it's IS-3.
Yeah. No, the IS-3 did. I don't think he had that shot. I'm looking over.
Oh, from the keyhole of
yeah,
DJ Nanny. Yeah,
DJ
yeah,
Danny.
You're
That's
right,
like, if we jump to my screen, we can see the shot. It's just so thin. Yeah, actually, we're now on your screen. But it's, look at how thin that shot is. And he actually barely had the shot. I didn't even think he would be able to spot through all of that. Just amazing.
Wow. Wait, how can you do 4? No, it has to be from an IS-3. You can't low roll.
Twice for that?
Yeah, you can't low roll that.
I just didn't think that the...
Right, it's 600 average damage. 600 average damage. There you go, Andre.
No, maybe. I guess you're right. What if he hit him and lit him on fire for a second, doing like 56 for...
Well, that would do more damage.
Well,
oh, one shot?
Well, if he has an auto fire extinguisher, what happens is it takes only one tick of fire, and that would be enough.
You're right.
But, I mean, we'd have to jump on him, or we're just thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he had the shot, though, unless he went way out.
Well, the group up we can see on the screen next to the church, we got 5 of the heavies. 4 refuse to die. Waiting for anything to be spotted, and the triangulation, if you'll notice on the minimap, is cutting off the oxygen supply of Super Amigos. If they're claustrophobic, it's going to get worse and worse for them as they are moving in. Alley by alley, building by building. Colonel Angus in the IS-3 could pop out if he wants to, but why take unnecessary damage? Bag of Kittens is the only one hurt on his side. And they are able to spot one of the 5100s.
And keep in mind, guys, they do have the 2 T1s. That's very incredibly important. You might say, well, they're just T1s. What are they going to do in the battle? They're going to cap. And if you want to go ahead and deny that cap, that's 2 shells that you'll have to use to crush them. And guess what? They are doing the right push, Rootkill. This is awesome. Refuse to die, going up the place where it's going to maximize value in terms of their attack.
Exactly. I'm so glad to see this. This is the answer that I'm glad they did this. This shows that they've grown so much since Season 1.
Yep.
Where so many teams probably would have hesitated a long time to find this answer, but they're coming around. They're going to take 1 hit, but he's tracked.
2 shots fired against Carl Manson, but no HP went down. Have Mercy takes a hit from Carl Mason.
212. And he is down. That's a tier 8 advantage. 10 tier points.
Calmercian is down. Colonel Angus taking the front lead here with World War II Fanatic in the IS-3. Trying to bounce a shot. No, DJ's not able to bounce against Colonel Angus. Doesn't even take a shot. Colonel Angus is able to hit him. 678 at 1400. 2 more tanks further down the line. One of them a T-69. WGS at Leda is spotted. Colonel Angus could get another shot against Tosi Furiosa on that 5100. And the shot does hit. 1017 at 1400 goes down.
Fantastic. Valkyrie Vedwas is still out of the fight, by the way, guys. He's across the cap, and it looks like we don't have Super Amigos recognizing that advantage. Oh, they do spot Valkyrie Vedwas. This is a point at which they probably would recognize this. They could push. They could push, and they could even this up. Not anymore, probably, because...
Oh, no, definitely not, because a Bag of Kittens was able to snake a pretty nice shot into them.
Right through that keyhole.
And they were able to take out another Tier 8 tank. DJ Danny is going to be taken out there. So really nicely done. Now Colonel Angus going to get in a really nice position. He is reverse angling, ladies and gentlemen, so that helps out so incredibly nicely.
Yep, and he was doing that earlier, and a couple shots did bounce off him. Those did not bounce. So 760 out of 1,500.
Oh.
Shots from Have No Mercy, and Thiel could go down in the IS-3. One more hit, and he does from World War II Fanatic. Tosi Furioso, WTS Atleta, left alive here. Just a couple more shots, and this will be a match victory for Refuse to Die. One tank left. It is a T-69. They are on the hunt, on the prowl, as Refuse to Die will be able to close this out. Even got some capture points going. And there it is, the final call.
World War II Fanatic cleaning it up.
Refuse to Die. Amazing, amazing play by these guys. This is a different team compared to Season 1.
Guys, is this the killer instinct that we're looking for in Refuse to Die?
Yep.
I think so. I mean,
it was more methodical. It was a little bit slower, but it's what they needed to get that final push, the final trigger.
You know what? I am incredibly biased. Don't get me wrong. More so because I don't like camping. I love to see camping positions getting crushed. And Refuse to Die, we kept saying, can they brawl? Can they brawl? And overall, yesterday we were like, they're not that great at it. They're not actually prioritizing the best. Today, they've showed it. Now, of course, the team wasn't nearly as good as some of the premier WGLNA teams, but I do think that it is in a state where they can compete very, very well. They have good movement. Now we know they have good tanking.
They can be a contender, and that's what these teams need to prove on the onset for Season 2. The offset, we saw the end of Season 1, we saw, okay, who can make it to the top 4, then the top 2, Simp and Fulcrum. That was a lot of people's choices. But we were surprised by the performances of the other teams.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be even more surprised, not just with the ongoing performances of the top 8, but now whoever's going to make it through the qualifiers.
Yeah, this is getting to a point where, you know, with Fulcrum and Simp, as you said, we were just looking for teams to take games off of them.
Yeah.
A series wasn't really in question. You know, we as casters, we kind of felt it. You know, we're following through the WGLNA. We even said they're going to get to the top 2, and they did. They performed to expectations. But now all of a sudden, with the rising skill level of the WGLNA, or I should just say the North American scene, or the South American scene.
America.
I think they have to be a little bit more worried. Fulcrum Gaming, not Simple Tankers, just Simp Main, they both have to be very, very scared of this impending threat.
Rukil, your thoughts of the match and also of Refuse to Die as a team?
I thought they did very well. The answer could have been gotten a little bit faster, but at the same time, you have to say they wanted to get those T1s down very early, and they did that. It was just, it takes a while to get into position properly to defeat the camp, and I'm very glad, just like Andre said, to see a hard camp dismantled, because nothing, I don't like anything that has to do with camping. It's just, no.
Rukil.
What?
Everybody knows that about me. I actually said that
Yeah.
during the break when I thought my microphone was muted. I said, man, I'm such a biased caster. And I am. I don't think that camping is the right way to play World of Tanks. Yes, it can have some success, but when you camp, you're playing not to win. Or, excuse me, you're playing not to lose. And when you put yourself in that situation, you can never really win unless your opponents make a grave mistake.
Well, unless you're up 2 battle victories, it's a 7th map and only needs to draw it out. That's when you camp.
Okay.
That's when you camp on steps.
Or Prohorovka.
Oh, Prohorovka.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That's
in
right.
the last second, your enemy has to try and desperately attack, and every shot counts, but
They should have gone a second earlier.
Yeah.
a second earlier.
The shot that cost $25,000 is what we saw at the end of Season 1. What an incredible match that was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will get the next match prepared for you. It is going to be Sympasaurus Rex versus the Forgotten Legionnaires. Stay tuned. You're watching WGLNA.